Okay, in the next part of this assignment, I'm gonna show you how to manipulate your keyframes, smooth some things out, maybe even speed some things up. Okay, so we're gonna go into our project here, and you saw we had our tennis ball layer selected here, and again under transform we have our position keyframes here. You can see them all right here. So again, playing through our initial keyframes there, you can see the ball takes kind of a weird slide there as it goes along. Um, so we can look at that. We can address some of that in what's called the value graph. So now that we have our basic animation there, now we'll go into the value graph, which is on the top here of the timeline. And we're going to make sure you're in composite shot here still. So value graph. And this is what you're going to see. Now the red here indicates your x-axis, what's going along horizontally. So in other words, if I move this keyframe, let's say I pull this down, the ball is going to move across the screen as I go towards 0 and negative numbers. So as I head towards 0 on our timeline and even into the negative, the ball is going to move to the left. If I move this up, the ball is going to move to the right. So red is dealing with horizontal. Green is dealing with the bounces. And you can see that the bounces correspond with what the ball's doing. Notice there it kind of slides and goes into a curve there. So I'm hoping I can address that a little bit too. See how it curves? I'm not sure that there's much I can do here. I mean, I could click on this here, but it's already in linear mode, which are straight lines. So I could try to make it look a little better well, let's try. Let's try making the ball hang in the air a little longer. So let's go up to here. You can go up to these any of these individual keyframes, and we're going to click on these top peaks here. And if I go up to the top of the timeline, there's a little circle there that says Convert selected keyframe to manual Bezier. If I click that, notice now it's got a more rounded top. Let's do the same thing with the second one here. What that'll do is, as the ball reaches up to the peak up here, it's going to slow down as it reaches the top. Then as it gets steeper again, it'll speed up. And that'll reflect more of the natural movement of what a ball would do. And if you click this center piece right here, you'll have both these activated. And I can drag this over now and sort of even these up here. Like so. And make some adjustments there. So you can adjust these to be more smooth and rounded if you need to. And notice here when I grab a point on the green line or the y-axis, it's also grabbing the x, and the x moves with it. That's a pretty slick feature. Okay, and then this one will move over. And if you hold shift down, it'll keep it along the vertical axis. It won't move up and down. That can be really annoying, especially when you're trying to keep everything even. And as we move toward the smaller bounces, they should be a little closer together anyway too. So let's bring those closer together. Again, I'm holding shift, and then while I'm holding shift, dragging these over in a linear fashion. Shift. And this one obviously is going to want to be back over here a little more. So let's see how that changes with the speed here. It's a little better as far as the movement goes. So things are starting to look a little better here, and I think we could even start moving them closer together right here even. So bringing those in, bringing these in a little closer. And now we can take this whole thing right here So just draw a selection around the whole thing, hold down shift, and just bring that in closer. And let's see how that fares. Now it's bouncing a little better, speeding up as it's getting lower, and then it slows down as it heads toward the end. So that was looking pretty darn good. Let's bring that closer and see if it... Oh, do you see that little bounce there? So that's something I need to fix. Let's see what's happening there. Not bad. You know, I could bring this down just a hair. Get it down there sooner. Boy, it sure does move fast right there at the end. So let's try that again. Not sure why it's stopping right there. Maybe these keyframes aren't really movement keyframes. So maybe I accidentally keyframed something there I shouldn't have. Perfect. Okay, so there you can just delete them also if you don't need them. Hold down shift. Let's drag this out a little more. Make it slower at the end. Better. And then I want to speed that up just a little bit. So bring it back this way. That looks pretty good. Okay, so using the more Bezier type curve here kind of helps the ball hang in the air a little bit, and then it gets a little faster as the bounces get smaller, and then it slows down. So that looks pretty good right there. So let's say you're happy with your speeds here, your overall velocity here. But overall, you just want to speed it out, the whole thing up. Once you're done with it here, you can move it into the regular editor timeline. But before we do that, I want to show you, if the ball is going to be moving like this, it's obviously going to be rotating, right? So notice here I have no rotation on it. So to fix that, I'm going to rotate it. So I'm going to go down to my rotation transform. Let me move this over again. And let's bring this up. And let's go down to, let's bring this back over. Rotation here. So we're going to go to rotation here. And there's only really one line to worry about. So the only thing we're going to worry about is our beginning point, which is 0, right? So I'm going to click the little activation for keyframing right here, the little circle. Notice there the keyframe was created. By the time we get to the end of this animation, I want it to have rotated 8 times. And since the ball is moving from right to left, it should rotate toward the left, right? So let's just try 8 here in our number slider. So there's 7, and let's see if we can get it down to 8. 8 times, perfect. So now when I look at it, let's scroll in on the screen here so you can really see this. Watch the ball here. Uh-oh, it's rotating the opposite way. It's rotating this way while it's moving that way. That defies physics, right? So I'm going to change that up. We'll stay at 0. And then again, by the end, let's just rotate it the opposite way. Now we're going to have a negative number. So it's -8 here. So what that means is if we drag our line to go to the negative numbers, it's going to rotate a certain way. If we drag it to the positive numbers, it's going to rotate the opposite way. So now when I scrub through this, you should see it rotating along the right axis. And there it is. It's rotating this way towards the left. And that's good. All right, so now that we have that, we can watch our basic animation here. Let's bring that down and look back here on it. And you can see the ball's rotating there. Let me zoom out just a little bit more. You can see the ball now is rotating in the right direction. So, okay, so once you're done with that, now we can close this up. We can click off the value graph. And now what we can do is go back to the editor timeline right here. Instead of, we're going back to our regular editor. And now we can drag our composite shot in there as if it's one video track. So now I'm going to grab my composite shot, drag it in here, and do my final speed here using the rate stretch tool. Okay, so right now, if you look at this, by the end of the video, we have about 7 seconds. I want to get that down to about 5 maybe. So what I'm going to do is, and if you watch here, you can see all of our work has been added in there. It looks pretty good already as it is. But notice here it's rotating way too long. I don't like that. So I'm going to fix that first. So let's delete this off of here. We'll go back to our composite window. And we're going to mess with the rotation one more time. So if I go here, click on rotate. Go to my value graph. Instead of having it rotate all the way to the very end, let's have it stop rotating right before the very end. So let's look at that and try that. Let me bring this down here so we can see the whole screen here. Oops, still can't see it. Let's bring that up. There we go. All right, so the hand grabber will help you move your screen around. Now it should stop rotating before it stops. And there you can see it's rotating way too long. And something changed on our time too as well. So I want to address that. So if you look at the composite shot, if you want to check your settings on that, you can go over here. We obviously have to fix that. It's saying 7 seconds here, which is good. That's what we want. And then if we look in the editor timeline, there's where we have a problem. Notice here it changed it to 1 minute 7 seconds. I'm not sure why it did that. So you'll have to go to project settings and make sure that the settings are exactly the same for both your composite shot and your editor timeline. Okay, so let's go back to our composite shot here and take a look at it. We should still have just a 7 second here that's working. And wow, look, we still have rotation going on there. So we need to fix that, and the way to do that would be to drag this over. So our rotation's going to stop somewhere over here. And notice there it changed the rotation a little bit. But then it stops right there, so we're pretty close there. Try it again. So you might just have to adjust where it stops rotating. Pretty close there. Again, hold shift down to go in a straight line. That looks pretty good right there. Maybe one more quick movement. Okay. Looks good right there. Okay, so you just make your adjustments, and now it should look pretty smooth. Very close. Perfect. Okay, so once you get that worked out, now you go back to your editor, bring your composite shot in here. And to get this down to, let me zoom in on it so you can see that it's 7 seconds. Or it should be anyway. Now we're getting back to that 107 here, so I don't know why it does that. Maybe it adds it on purpose. But we have to go back and change it again now to 7 seconds, not 1 minute 7 seconds. Click OK, and now we should be set up perfect. So you can see why it's important that the composite shot and your video clip are about the same, about in sync with each other. So what we're going to do now is we're going to grab what's called our rate stretch tool. So again, once your composite shot's back in your editor window, we're going to grab the rate stretch tool. It looks like an S with 2 points on either end. Grab that. We're going to go to the very end of this and just left click and drag it toward 5 seconds. What that'll do is it'll shorten your video, and it'll also make it happen faster. So now we're at 5:01, So we're just about at 5 seconds pretty much there. So if you want to make it a little shorter than that, you can too. You can drag it in one more maybe. Now it's about 4:28. So that's close to 5 seconds. Now if we watch it, when I rate stretch it back towards 0, it's going to speed everything up because it has to get everything in a shorter amount of time. So you can see it's happening much faster now, and that looks more natural. So you can see here's the original. You can see how much slower it is. That's pretty slow, right? Ball usually moves a little faster than that in real time. So again, grab your rate stretch tool, head to the end, drag this into 5, or 4:28 or whatever it is we're doing. And now when you watch it, it should be more, that's a better speed. So that looks pretty good there. So that's what you want to do after you do your basic keyframing. You want to use the value graph in your composite shot to fine-tune these position points, your anchor point, scale, rotation, opacity, whatever it is you're doing to transform your object. And then when you're finished with that, you return to the editor timeline. From your clips window, drag your composite shot back in here and use the rate stretch tool to do your final speed adjustments.